Cemeteries, we think of them as these quiet, final resting places, with sanctuaries almost, peaceful.
But the stories we've gathered today, they really challenge that idea. They show a much darker side.
Absolutely.
We're talking about real encounters, real people facing genuine threats, human predators, really bizarre stuff happening where you least expect it.
These places are isolated, often dark. It seems almost predictable in a grim way that they'd attract certain kinds of activity, turn sacred ground into something else entirely.
Yeah, exactly. Our goal tonight in this deep dive is to look at these true accounts, these terrifying moments, and see what they tell us. It's about predators, strange behavior, violence, all hiding in plain sight almost. Understanding how that isolation just enables terror.
It really does say something about, well, human nature, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Take away the witnesses, add that inherent spookiness people feel in graveyards.
Right.
And you've basically created a perfect environment for some very disturbing behavior. The isolation lets a predator completely control the situation. Public space becomes a private hunting ground. Let's start with how predators can use, well, basic human decency against someone. Our first source, we're calling it the graveyard trap, shows us perfectly how vulnerability is kind of manufactured.
Yes.
So this happened to a young guy walking home late, maybe 3 a.m., near this huge cemetery, like 300 acres, huge.
Wow, that's massive. Very isolated.
Definitely. And as he's walking along the edge, he hears this sound, really distinct, like a cat crying, but also screeching, like it's in agony. And it's definitely coming from inside the cemetery fence.
Okay, that's a specific lure. It's what some psychologists might call a helper stimulus, you know. In that quiet, isolated setting, a sound of intense distress, especially from an animal, it grabs your attention.
Yeah.
It can even override your sense of self-preservation. You feel compelled to check it out, to help.
Exactly. And that's what he did. His instinct took over. He hopped the fence, started walking into the graveyard, following the sound. It got louder as he went deeper.
Okay.
Then when he's maybe 30, 40 yards away from where he thinks it is, suddenly it just stops. Dead silence.
Oh, no.
And then from behind a big tombstone, a hooded figure steps out.
Right. The trap is sprung.
They just stare at each other for a few seconds. And then this is the really chilling part. The hooded man makes the exact same cat noise, that horrible screeching cry.
No, that's calculating.
Then he charges. The young man just turns and sprints, gets out of there as fast as he can. He looks back, and the man has stopped chasing him. He's just calmly walking back towards the tomb.
And let me guess.
As soon as the victim was safely away, the cat cries started up again. He wasn't saving a cat.
Yeah.
He was the bait.
That's deeply unsettling. It wasn't about the chase itself, maybe. It was about using empathy, that common human trigger, to lure him deep inside where escape is harder, where the surprise factor is total. It's like profiling the environment, knowing that basic decency is the weak point in that isolated place.
And sometimes it's not distress they use, but a false sense of safety. The next account, the maintenance man. This involves a 19-year-old woman. She's walking alone in a cemetery in the rain, looking for a friend's grave. Talk about vulnerable, alone, grieving, exposed to the elements.
Doubly vulnerable, yes. Emotionally preoccupied, physically exposed. It's a bad combination.
So she gets approached by a bright orange maintenance truck. Looks official. The driver offers her a ride out of the cemetery. Seems like a rescue, right? Someone who belongs there.
That official appearance, the uniform, the truck, that's crucial. It creates an instant layer of trust, even if it's false. Your rational brain sees authority, safety. It can easily override those gut feelings, those warning signs.
And there were warning signs. She said the truck was filthy inside, tools everywhere, smelled really strong like smoke and ash. The driver himself, older guy, maybe mid-40s, black cowboy hat, big guy, spoke in this low, raspy voice, breathing heavily. She felt uncomfortable straight away.
Listening to her gut, then.
Yeah, but she still got in. Then he pulls over, not near the exit, but by some big family monument in a part she didn't recognize. Before she can really process it, he slowly reaches across her, pulls her shoulder so her head's kind of pinned against the console.
Oh, this is bad.
She straightens up, startled, and he's undoing his belt, exposes himself right there.
Okay, full-on predator.
Her reaction was immediate. Grabbed her coat, her umbrella, shoved the door open, and just ran. Full speed. Didn't stop for like 10 minutes until she was completely out of sight. That quick, aggressive response probably saved her from something much worse. The whole thing relied on her maybe hesitating to question his authority.
Absolutely. That split-second decision to fight or flee is critical.
And that kind of threat, it can start subtly but escalate fast. Which brings us to the next really disturbing idea. These cemetery predators don't always stay in the cemetery. Sometimes they follow you home. This one's called the persistent stalker.
Ugh, the transition. That's a worrying psychological step for a perpetrator. The cemetery provides anonymity, maybe even a sense of justification in their mind. But then they take that risk outside, into the victim's own space.
This involved young girls, like 9 to 11 years old, playing near their local cemetery. They noticed this creepy guy just kind of wandering aimlessly, staring. Made them uncomfortable, so they decided to leave.
Smart kids, trusting their instincts.
As they were heading out, an older woman stopped them, gave them this really weird smile, she said, kind of knowing and creepy, and warned them, "You girls shouldn't come here. There are creeps that walk through here."
Wow, so it's known in the community. The graveyard is a known hunting ground. That's chilling in itself.
But the warning, sadly, came too late. Later on, the girls are playing in their own front yard. And guess who shows up?
Oh no, the same guy.
The exact same man from the cemetery. Tries talking to them. They ignore him, get scared, run into the backyard. An hour later, they peek out front. He's still there, just sitting on the curb, watching the house.
That's terrifying persistence, just sitting there, marking territory almost.
The end of this encounter is just shocking. How quickly it escalated. One of the girl's fathers eventually saw him and chased him off. But later, the man was seen running down an alley from a neighbor's yard. He was holding a dead dog in one hand and had a fresh dog bite on his other hand.
Oh my God.
Got away before anyone could catch him. Never seen again. But that jump from just watching kids to brutally killing a family pet, it shows this terrifying lack of control, maybe, a clear intent to cause harm, to traumatize.
That's often called displaced aggression. He couldn't get to his primary targets, the children, so the violence is redirected onto something vulnerable, the dog. Still an act of power, of causing terror, even as he's fleeing. Extremely unstable behavior.
Talk about anonymity, though.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to see anything in a really thick fog. Our next story, the fog runner, happened around 2 a.m.
Fog is disorienting. It amplifies fear because you lose your primary sense sight.
Exactly. This woman, 24, worked late. Housing rules meant she had to park like half a mile from her place. This night, the fog was incredibly dense, visibility maybe just a foot or two.
Nightmare scenario for walking alone.
As she starts walking, she hears this really obnoxious cough right behind her. Then, footsteps.
Yeah.
Immediately behind her.
Okay, he's making his presence known, using sound to terrify when sight is useless. The cough, the footsteps, it's psychological warfare before anything physical even happens.
Totally. Then it becomes active intimidation. She hears a cat call whistle cut through the fog. That's when she knew it was deliberate. She started running.
And he ran too.
Yeah, she could hear him running right behind her, panting heavily. Pure panic. She sees the cemetery gates and ducks inside, thinking she can hide among the tombstones.
Oh, that might have been a mistake, trapping herself.
It was. The footsteps stopped right outside the gate. She was hidden, but yeah, trapped. The cemetery's fenced.
So now he knows where she is, roughly. He's shifted from a chase to containment. Patience becomes the weapon. He doesn't need to see her. He just needs to wait.
After what felt like forever in silence, she hears his voice cut through the fog. "I know you're there, sweetheart."
Ugh, chilling.
And she hears the distinct click and hiss of a lighter. Smells cigarette smoke. He's just standing there, waiting her out, knowing she's stuck.
That's pure psychological torture, the waiting, the knowing.
Her only way out was desperate. She found a spot on the back fence where the ground dipped, managed to crawl underneath the chain link, ran the rest of the way home. The cemetery, her supposed hiding place, became this terrifying waiting room.
Just awful. The fog made it so much worse.
So now let's shift gears a bit. We've seen lures, false safety, stalking. Now we get into encounters that are just overtly aggressive. Shock tactics, high risk. Things get weirder. Let's start with Rambo with a machete.
Okay, the name alone tells you something.
Yeah. This involved a guy named Dave, his wife, and 6 teenage girls, about 13 years old. They'd gone to this very isolated graveyard, deep woods all around it, looking for a thrill, telling ghost stories.
That thrill-seeking element. People underestimate the real dangers in isolated places, thinking it's just spooky fun. Can be a fatal mistake when actual human threats are present.
Definitely. So they finish up, pile back into their big car. Dave's about to put the key in the ignition, and they hear this sound on the driver's window. Not knuckles tapping, it's like a light, metallic ting, ting, ting.
Hey, metal on glass.
What was it?
It was the tip of a machete.
Oh, come on.
Really. Standing right there is this guy, described as looking like Rambo, shirtless, green and brown paint smeared on him, rag tied around his head. Dave, for a split second, actually thought maybe the guy needed help, started to open the door.
No.
But his wife and the girls just screamed in pure terror. He slammed it shut, locked the doors immediately. And as they're fumbling, freaking out, the Rambo guy starts doing this weird karate display, spinning the machete, doing kicks right there beside the car. That's performance terror. It's not just a threat. It's a show designed to maximize shock, to paralyze the victims with fear and disbelief. The weapon, the paint, the weird moves. It overwhelms your ability to think straight.
They floored it, obviously, got out of there fast. Later, much later, they drove back carefully, stayed in the car, and they thought they saw what looked like maybe a body lying on a grave way in the back.
Whoa, they didn't report that.
The account doesn't say, but can you imagine? That level of unpredictable theatrical violence, I bet it changed their idea of a thrill forever.
I would certainly hope so. That's not a thrill, that's a potential homicide scene.
Here's another one involving aggression, but this time with a vehicle. The Gypsy Graveyard Chase. 4 friends, interested in the afterlife apparently, drive out to this old, kind of abandoned cemetery, sometimes called the Gypsy Graveyard. It's 2:0 a.m., snowing heavily.
Okay, again, extreme isolation. Bad weather, remote location, 0 chance of help or witnesses, maximum vulnerability.
They park, just looking around, commenting on how creepy it is. Then this white Jeep, looked like a late 90s model, drives past them. Then it comes back, parks near them, rolls down the window, and just starts blasting this really weird, quote, satanic-sounding music at them. For ages, it felt like. Then drives off.
That's bizarre harassment, trying to intimidate them, maybe?
Seems like it. But stupidly, maybe. They stay put. The Jeep comes back again, makes another pass, lays on the horn this time. That finally freaks them out enough to run for their car.
Good, get out of there.
But they immediately get stuck in the snow.
Oh.
It was deep, like a foot deep.
Oh, perfect. Stuck and targeted.
They panic, struggle, finally manage to get the car free. They drive off, go maybe 5 miles down the road, thinking they're clear, breathing sighs of relief.
Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling.
And suddenly, headlights flick on right behind them.
He was following them with no lights on.
The Jeep had been tailing them the whole time, lights off, through the snow.
That's not just harassment anymore. That's calculated pursuit. Driving without lights shows serious premeditation. He waited until they were far from the cemetery, completely alone on the road.
And then the attack. The Jeep pulls up right alongside them. The driver throws something hard, hits their car. Then he speeds up, gets in front of them, and slams on his brakes, deliberately trying to cause a crash.
Trying to force them off the road, or cause a head-on. That's attempted vehicular assault.
They managed to swerve, avoid hitting him, got away eventually. But they were left wondering, was that just some psycho road rage incident? Or was it something more planned, more sinister?
Given the stalking with lights off, I'd lean towards sinister.
Okay, moving towards even stranger territory now. Organized activity? Ritual, maybe? This one's called Robes, Fire, and Sacrifice. It happened on Halloween night.
Halloween always brings out the weirdness, but this sounds potentially more involved.
Some friends were driving around looking at Halloween decorations in a wealthy neighborhood. Lots of lights, ghosts, you know. But one older house stood out. No typical decorations, just weird chanting sounds coming from inside, fog machines going.
A different kind of mood.
They stopped, kind of curious. Went up to the door, there's a bowl of candy. One friend reaches in, and a hand grabs him. A little hand shot out of the candy bowl.
Jump scare. Classic Halloween prank.
Yeah, totally freaked him out. He ran back to the car. But then they heard the chanting again, fainter now, seemed to be coming from behind the house. So they decided to follow the sound, led them towards an open graveyard nearby.
Okay, curiosity getting the better of them again.
They pull up near the edge, and they see it. A group of people, maybe a dozen, all wearing robes, dancing and chanting around this huge bonfire, like 5 feet tall, made of big logs.
All right, this is moving beyond pranks. This sounds like some kind of ritual. When you have groups acting in secret like this, the dynamic changes. It's less about targeting a random victim, maybe more about protecting their secrecy through intimidation. Cult vibes.
Definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
They watched as an older woman, face painted, tossed something unidentifiable into the fire. Then she reached in or near the fire, pulled out a chicken. It looked very limp, they said, maybe already dead, possibly sacrificed, and threw that into the flames.
Whoa, okay, yeah. That's ritualistic. Sacrifice, fire, chanting.
They were just stunned watching this. Then the woman turns her head, slowly, stares right at them for like 10 solid seconds. Then she smiles, this really unsettling smile, and waves them over. beckons them to come closer.
That slow turn, the stare, the smile, that's pure menace disguised as invitation. It's saying, we see you, you're intruding, and maybe you should join us. Or else. Masterful nonverbal threat.
The driver panicked, tried to slam the gas to get out of there, and the engine stalled.
Oh, come on. The timing. That just amplifies the fear, makes it feel like something supernatural is happening, even if it's just bad luck. External, sinister control.
Totally. They're freaking out, trying to start the car. As they finally get it going and peel away, one of the robed men also starts waving them over, beckoning them to join. They just want it out.
I don't blame them one bit. That's terrifying.
Okay, finally. We've reached arguably the most extreme account. Multiple encounters, escalating violence, psychological games, involving a figure we'll call the Cloaked Man with the Axe.
Axe. Okay, we've definitely escalated.
This seems centered around one specific graveyard. And this figure, maybe the caretaker, maybe not, always seen in a cloak, the aggression started overtly, chasing teenagers out of the cemetery.
Standard territorial stuff, maybe.
Except he was carrying a large hammer. And as they scrambled over the fence to escape, he swung it, hitting the fence post with this massive thud right where one of their heads had just been.
Okay, not standard. That's attempted aggravated assault, maybe attempted murder. Striking that close with a heavy weapon. That's lethal intent, plain and simple.
Some friends of the original group, hearing this, decided to go back later, kind of scout things out. They watched him near his shed. He was looking over his tools, a big hammer, a rusty wrench, and a decaying machete.
A collection of pretty brutal implements.
And he then went into the church on the grounds. The church bell rang, but in a weird, non-standard pattern. Then he came back out, carrying an axe.
Okay, this is getting theatrical again, but much more menacing.
And here's where it gets really bizarre. He just stops in the middle of the graveyard, drops to the ground, and starts crawling. Rapidly crawling on all fours around the gravestone, making these weird, growing-like sounds, grunting, guttural noises.
On earth, crawling.
Yeah. Then he abruptly stops crawling, stands up, walks over to a tombstone, smashes it hard with the axe, and lets out this horrifying long scream.
Wow, that sequence. The weapon check, the weird bells, the crawling, the animal sounds, smashing the stone, the scream. It's either a complete psychological breakdown happening right there, or it's an incredibly calculated performance designed to utterly terrify anyone watching, shattering any sense of normalcy or predictability.
You wouldn't know what to expect next, which is exactly what happened on their final visit. They went back during the day, maybe feeling safer. Big mistake.
Oh, dear.
They were in this older section, kind of maze-like with the paths and graves. The Cloaked Man saw them, and this time, no theatrics. He just charged, running straight at them, axe raised.
Full-on attack in daylight.
They ran for their lives. Through the maze, dodging graves. They hit a dead end at one point. A locked shed had a double back, him still coming after them. They finally burst out of the cemetery and just kept running.
Did they get away clean?
They got away. But the story ends with this chilling postscript. The very next day, they saw police cars at the cemetery, red tape up, right by the church where they'd seen him emerge with the axe.
So something happened, something authorities had to investigate. We don't know what, but connected to him. Very likely.
It leaves you wondering, what exactly did the police find?
Exactly.
So wrapping this up, what we've seen in this deep dive is just the sheer range of dangers you might encounter in these places we think of as peaceful. It's not just ghosts you need to worry about.
Not at all.
We've heard about calculated predators using lures, like the cat cry. Indecent exposers exploiting a uniform for trust. Stalkers who follow you home. Bizarre figures acting out violent fantasies, like Rambo with a machete. Organized groups engaging in rituals. And potentially unhinged individuals escalating to full-blown axe attacks.
The common element in almost all of these is how the perpetrator uses the environment. The isolation, the darkness, the fog, even the inherent creepiness. It's all weaponized to control the situation, to isolate the victim, and to negate the chance of witnesses. But here's the final thought I want to leave you with, something really unsettling that ties back to that last story, the Cloaked Man, and the rumors he was the caretaker. Think about it. In several of these stories, the threat comes from someone who seems to belong there. The maintenance man, the potential caretaker. These predators might not just be random intruders. They could be people who know the grounds intimately. They know the blind spots, the locked gates, the schedules.
Like a person you might look to for help could actually be the source of the danger.
Yeah.
They control the maze. They know how to use the fog. They set the rules because it's their territory. That power imbalance stemming from intimate knowledge of the isolated environment, that's perhaps the most terrifying possibility of all.
Wow, that is a chilling thought to end on. The authority figure as the ultimate predator in that setting. Well, thank you for joining us on this, frankly, quite terrifying exploration. We hope these accounts serve as a stark reminder, maybe, if you found yourself gripped or maybe just deeply unsettled by these true stories, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docx. It helps us keep bringing these accounts to light. We'll see you next time.